Welcome, everybody, to the Duel Today podcast. Today we have an awesome guest episode with Dr. Bijoy John. And if you're like me and have any issues around or questions around sleep, Dr. John has your answer. You're going to really love this episode. So he's a board-certified physician and a practicing sleep specialist, currently in private practice with over 25 years of experience in pulmonary and critical care and sleep medicine. He's based in Nashville, Tennessee, and he treats both children and adults with various sleep disorders. He's the founder and medical director of Sleep Wellness Clinics of America, which offers in-person and online consultations, education, modern diagnostic modalities, home testing, and comprehensive treatment for a full spectrum of sleep disorders. He's also the founder of Sleep Fix Academy, which offers online courses, podcasts, and other resources to improve sleep quality. He also serves as an affiliate assistant professor at the University of Tennessee Health Science Center College of Medicine. We had a super great time with Dr. John for today's episode. Had a lot of really interesting questions answered. He shared his 7 pillars of sleep, or his 7 sleep strategies that can help anybody. And today, March 12th, his book, Nobody's Sleeping, comes out. We'll leave a link to the book in the show notes, so be sure to check that out. If you have any questions around sleep, this man has your answer. So I hope you guys enjoy the show. Take care.
We are ramped up. We have to balance to bring that down, but the modern world we live in has this amped up thing. So we have to find a way to calm your mind by calming your body, and see, that's the thing.
Well, I noticed that you talk about the 7 strategies for improving sleep. Obviously, we want you to talk about your book, but what are the big mechanisms kind of behind the scenes that are propping up those 7 strategies? What's the big support mechanism there?
It's I have learned, like any art you do, you want to perfect yourself. But to be better at it, you have to go through the suffering yourself. The person who wrote the best book on marriage, she was divorced 7 times. So by the time she figured it out, it took her 7 tries. I had tremendous problems with insomnia myself. Being in med school, and then and then when I lost my mom, and then when I started my practice. But I have implemented it and found the right way, because life happens to all of us. So I'm a huge fan of teaching sleep in children, and also certain age groups, because you have to learn sleep as a child. So that's why I dedicated some chapters over there. So behind the scenes, I've implemented this. It works. It works on all the patients that I've treated. I perfected it before they were 5, but I think I need about 7 to get it all right.
That's incredible. I didn't know there was like different recommendations for sleep based on age group. Could you talk about that a little bit, about how sleep looks different from a child to an adult and so on?
So children need a lot of sleep. Like, I'm talking about preschool children and babies, because the growth hormone is deeply secreted mostly in deep sleep. So what happens in teenage years? There's a clock problem. The hormones, the pubertal hormones, shift the clock forward. So they have a tendency to go to bed later, wake up later, combined with their social activity. So there's a clock problem around that time. And then what happens to all of us? Life happens, right? Job, family, and then raising our own children. And then as you go along, menopause happens in women, and menopause, I call it menopause, happens in men, and there's changes in sleep there. And then by the time you reach 70, you have another problem. It's called the clock problem, going the opposite way. The older adults tend to go to bed earlier and they wake up later. So, right through our lives, we have so many changes, and especially in women related to their monthly hormonal cycles. and childbearing and pregnancy, their sleep is worse. So I dedicate a chapter for them too. So it varies in different stages of our lives.
That is wild. The only experience that I know Tyler and I have had is we wear Whoops, so we get a lot of data with that. We've been wearing Whoops for what, Ty, like 4 years now? It's been a while.
Yeah.
So we've read some of the articles that they have and things like that. But outside of that, the only info I've gotten about sleep is actually through my mom. She mentioned menopause and how it was just a different phase for her. So that is wild. I didn't know there was so many. That's
Oh yeah,
crazy.
sleep is simple but dynamic. So we have to have a foundation, good foundation. And I like to get in front of school age children because right after when children go to college, you college is nothing but there's a lot of changes in their life. So the kids schedule the classes later, they wake up later, and then what happens? When reality happens when they start an 8 to 5 job, they can. The clock's already moved from pubertal age to,
Mm,
and with what happens with Corona completely changed all of us because we started working from home. The home then became the computer went to the bedroom. So everything has changed. So that checkpoint, everybody's sleep check that happens when you have an 8 to 5 job is no longer there because people are tending to sleep later and they work later from their homes. So this is, in my own children and anybody I tell, after college, I want everybody to get an 8 to 5 job because you want to structure your sleep because soon after you will get married, you have a child, your sleep is going to be out of whack already. So people are not getting a chance after COVID. It has completely changed the dynamic of sleep. And because of many reasons, there's also a term called coronasomnia because people are afraid about corona. Hey, maybe I have COVID, you have COVID, so they're worried about it, and it coined a term called coronasomnia ever since COVID happened.
wow. Now, obviously, like trying to keep a clear mind and having a good diet and keeping a good schedule when it comes to sleep is pretty important. Is there anything that people should be looking to do leading up to when they go to bed, or is it really all about being consistent and having a set schedule?
No, there's more to it. That's why I formed the seven proven sleep strategies. I also have an acronym for that. It's called Sleep Now. So I take people in this journey to calm your mind, but you have to calm your body before you calm your mind. So we want sleep to be an on and off switch, but sleep is a dimmer. You can hustle, you can data mine. I am not a big fan of these variables that you just mentioned because the exact science of sleep, you need to have EEG, you need to have brain activity, right? That's the only way to know sleep. This is depending on your how still you are, the body movements, and all that. So, the number one cause of consults in my clinic is the data mining. Hey, I don't have this much sleep. I don't have REM sleep. I don't have stage two sleep. And then what happens? You ruminate on it, you worry, and you affect your sleep even further. But the but I tell people to wear it, get the data, do something about it, and then do the data. But most people are just wearing the data. They're data mining. Sleep. Sleep is it varies day to day, right? So
Yep.
I mean, I can walk through it when you guys are ready to the seven sleep strategies. We can deal with it as we go along. Whichever you choose.
I mean, I definitely think they're important to bring up. So if you'd like to go into that, go for it.
So, in my preparation for people, I tell you, it's like a 7 course meal. You have to take it. You have to have the music. You have to have the wine. You have to have the cheese. You have to have the appetizers or the hors d'oeuvres. You can't go straight to the big meal, right? Or the big portion of the steak. So it is a song and dance. It is contrary to the hustle culture that we are living in, right? So this is one art. It's an art of sleep. It is a forgotten art. We want to do it in the modern way, but we don't. We cannot sleep. You just can't do it. Sleep is an old form of technique. You can't hustle your way. Even though we think we can. All right. So if your viewers are listening, let's take down SLEEP Now, Sleep Now acronym. So starting with S is the sleep schedule. For every plan to succeed, we have to have a schedule, right? The best time to sleep is between 10 to 6. I tell everybody this is the good time. So you have to have a schedule. Unfortunately, what people do, if they go to bed at 10 and they cannot sleep till midnight, guess what they're doing, Nico? They go to bed earlier. So now you're struggling in your bed from 9 p.m. To midnight. You're struggling for 3 hours. So the bedroom becomes a torture chamber. So easy first technique. If you're not able to fall asleep right away, go to the time that you fell asleep. So if you say you fell asleep at 11:30, go to bed around that time. But the key here is you have to wake up at 6 a.m. Most people, when I tell this, they don't like me. They don't like themselves. It's miserable. This is called sleep restriction. It works. You're trying to build a sleep debt, right? So, but you have to wake up at 6 a.m. If you hit the snooze button, you're releasing that pressure, and then you don't get it. So you have to wake up, and then once you fall asleep at 11:30, you can move to 11:15 and 11 p.m. and then so on, right? So, any questions here, Tyler or Nico?
No, sorry. That was actually I had a little itch there, so apologize if it looked like I was raising my hand.
Yeah,
I do have a question, Dr. John,
yes,
just on the
yes.
on the schedule piece. How important is having that consistent sleep and wake time? Not like, not just having 7 hours of sleep every night, but you go to bed at 10 and you wake up at 6 or 5 instead of going to bed at midnight and waking up at 7, 3 days a week. How important is having that consistency of the sleep and wake times?
Consistency is the key for any plan to succeed, right? Especially if you're not sleeping well, that's when consistency is so important. I have a good sleep schedule, so I can hang with my kids whatever they want to, right? If they have parties, if we're going to downtown. But a person who's vulnerable till they get their sleep ready, you have to have that schedule, right? Because what happens when you change your schedule, your body's circadian rhythm or the internal clock is messed up too. So we are all going to in this weekend, our clock is going to be messed up. A lot of people's sleep problems happen around this time because the clock is going to be messed up. So the sleep schedule is absolutely important, Tyler. All right. The next is the L in the acronym is low light, low noise, low temperature. Melatonin is our natural hormone that only produced in darkness and cold temperature. See, that's why when you have a tropical vacation, your sleep is all messed up because you don't have your body melatonin. Melatonin doesn't. So I tell people to have temperature between 65 to 70. Some people want it cold. It specifically becomes a spouse problem. I tell them to, wear extra blankets if one spouse is, a little bit colder. So it's very important. And so the next is electronics. Man, we all have our best friend. And my best friend right now is my phone. I'm going to do whatever it takes. I'm going to compromise on my workout. I'm going to compromise on my family time. I'm going to do whatever it takes. So where does that extra time come from? Is from the use of, sacrifice sleep. So just think, if you lose 1 hour of sleep per night in a week, you're losing the whole night of sleep, right? So the electronics is right from the time of we spending more time, plus the light from the electronics. What especially in the bedroom, what happens is there's no ambient light, so the light tells the brain, "Hey, it's daytime," and you're not able to go to sleep. Remember, I told you melatonin only secreted. So the first thing we do is pick up our phone. That's a classic sign of cell phone addiction, including myself. Today, I said, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to do my work before I touch my. So that's a clue. If you wake up and taking your phone, you have a cell phone addiction. So I leave my phone not close to me. I leave it in my bathroom. I have an alarm for 6 or 6:30. So in the middle of the night, when you wake up, you're like, oh wow, it's 3 o'clock. Oh, it's only 3 o'clock. I didn't only sleep this much. So the cognitive activity, you don't giving your chance for your cognitive activity to act up. Plus the dings and the notifications. Nothing good happens on the cell phone. Only people wanting something or respond to just stress. That's it. And we are mindlessly scrolling, including me. I look at it and say, what am I doing? I'm mindlessly scrolling on this thing. Okay, give it away. All right, so that's about electronics. And I tell people to get up electronics at least 30 minutes. I want it at least an hour. Personally, in my life, I don't use electronics past 7 p.m. There was my New Year resolution. I started in December. I'm hard at it from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. But 7 p.m. That's it. I read a book or watch TV, spend more time with my family. So this is very, very important. So at least 30 minutes. Next, SLEE. The next E is exercise. Exercise creates heat. The result of any exercise is endorphins and heat. Remember, melatonin is only secreted at cold temperature. So when you work out, you can't go to sleep. So the best time to work out is in the mornings. But if you have to work out, make sure you work out at least 4 hours and give a chance for your body to rest. So this is all the things I'm preparing. As this is an art. This is an older art. So you're preventing the access to your mind to be active. You're calming your body. Next is the P in the acronym is power off, right? So how do you power off your mind? Is by not giving a chance to be all revved up. So I teach two techniques to power off your mind. One is called vivid imagination. This is my own technique. It's there, but nobody uses it for sleep. So what happens when you go to bed? You're taking reality into your bedroom, right? So you don't want reality. You want to be abstract. So every night I think about something. If I watched a movie, I was watching Dune last night. I want to be the producer or the director of the show. I want to see how it plays on in my head. And I went to sleep right away because I don't want my bills or I'm getting ready for the show tomorrow. I don't want to worry about all that. I want to worry in the abstract. So give a chance for your mind to wander away, not reality. Okay. And then I also teach about yoga and nidra. Nidra is a Sanskrit word called nothingness. So when you lay down there, you have to be absolutely still. Turn your hands up. It's like called the corpse pose, and you start thinking about absolutely nothing. You can focus on your scalp, in your neck muscles and your arm muscles and your leg, and go down all the way down. This is one of those techniques called cognitive behavioral therapy for insomnia. So this helps. So these are the two techniques. But remember, I'm preparing you, everyone, by taking these baby steps. I'm slowly dimming off the light. It's not an on and off switch. Okay. Now, NO in the acronym is no to worries. We all worry. I worry. I tell people to worry between 6 p.m. and 8 p.m. That's what I do in my own life. After 8 p.m., I'm done. Scheduling worry time is important. Don't take it into your bedroom, right? So once you're done, if I don't resolve the problem, I'm done at 8 and I write it down. So you're giving your chance all these things before your bed. And then in the acronym NOW, win by losing. I had to fit my acronym in there. Win, we hustle, and win. But in this one, the only way you can win sleep is by losing yourself, keeping it simple. So this is my 7 proven sleep strategies. I worked on it for 25 years. I perfected it. I shared with many. I've helped many clients over these years. My family, my friends, all of them have it. I have this how to do it in my. I actually tell people to journal instead of the wearables. People are able to see when they had their caffeine, when they had their alcohol, what time they took a nap. I'm having all that also in my book. It's also on my website, so everybody can have a. And then everybody's like, "Wow!" When they have a visual, it's pretty dramatic. So that's the Sleep Now acronym. So SLEEP schedule, low light, low noise, electronics, no to electronics, at least half hour, no to exercise, at least 4 hours, power off your mind, no to worries, and win by losing. So this is my 7 proven sleep strategies in acronym. So I hope everybody does
that is round of applause for that one. That's excellent. You could definitely tell that you put lots of time into that. And there was like I've studied some life coaching, I've studied some different stuff with sleep, I've read some simple medical stuff, and there's a lot of different like aspects of medicine that seem to be connected to sleep. You're talking about worry, you're talking about exercise, you're talking about different things that you should or should not do with your electronics. Like those things are, to me, they're not necessarily about sleep, or they're not how we sleep or anything like that, but they impact us. You mentioned low light or alcohol or anything like that. Like that was amazing. Thank you for breaking that down.
So my background, I have 4 medical specialties. So my background as a physician taking care of the body. So anytime I see a person, I'm just not looking at the sleep. Sleep is the end result of something else, right? Especially this is if everybody listens, if they get this one point, I think my job is done here. So children should be the perfect sleepers till they are 18. So if a child, listeners, please listen. If your child is not sleeping, it is actually a cry for help. See, they are suffering from something else. And so you have to pull the child back. Is it academics? Is it athletics? Is it social pressure? We got to pull down and heal the child before they let you off to college, because everything gets accentuated in college and rest of your life. So please, please, parents, we have a responsibility. I do this, it's actually a little bit of a passion of mine, because a lot of parents tell me, Dr. John, I want to bring my son or daughter, and they never bring, and I'm embarrassed to ask them because I don't want to be soliciting. But actually, I lost a child because didn't fix, went to college, just ended it all. I was feeling so terrible,
Wow.
and even partially, I was partially felt responsible. So I called all the other parents, hey, bring your children, and all of them had anxiety or depression. So that is actually it's almost 100%. I can say if children don't sleep, they're suffering from anxiety or depression. So please
Wow.
do that. And also, we talked about a little bit about alcohol. Alcohol is interesting. Alcohol is a diuretic. It also, when it enters the body, it metabolizes into acetaldehyde. So that wakes you up. Alcohol anesthetizes the brain. That's why you're sleepy. It's not true sleep. It's not puts the right areas of the brain. It just anesthetizes the brain. Then what happens? You wake up to use the restroom because it's a diuretic. And plus the acetaldehyde, which is a chemical. That's why the hangover problem is the problem, because you're in a confused state. That's the material used for embalming the acetaldehyde. So it's not good for you. So if you're drinking alcohol, make sure you drink at least 2 3 hours, not heavy. And also eating, when you eat like a big meal, like a steak, it takes about, the food stays in your stomach for 2 hours, and it takes a lot of effort to digest. And in the digestive process, you have heat. Heat's not good for sleeping, right? Like the full stomach, then you have acid reflux. And also the choice of food is important, because if you eat a high glycemic meal, even 4 hours prior to going to sleep, you have a poor quality of sleep. So there is that, and also poor sleep causes the alteration in leptin and ghrelin, and then you eat more. So it's important in mental health. It's important in physical health. It is important to lose weight. So sleep is everything. So I want everybody to discover the superpower which we have, and once you discover it, we are like a charged battery ready to go. And but you have to unplug at night and to recharge it. But we're all going on sleep debt. All of us are chronically sleep deprived, and we're walking around in a fog, being angry, not making the right decisions. So I have this joy, and I want to share it. And this is my mission of my life, to share it as many people as I can.
That's excellent. Well, I definitely think you've done a great job with the 7 pillars. And there is, Ty, I don't mean to hog all these questions, but there is one sciencey question I
Yes.
wanted to ask here.
Yeah,
So
please. Yeah.
Tyler and I did an episode on sleep a while back, and one of the things that we researched was something called the glymphatic system. Could you tell me about that system a little bit, and why it's important in sleep?
Great question. So there is the lymphatic system that's within our body. That's the policeman of our body. It just goes and scans for cancer. But the brain has something called glymphatic system. That is actually a system which only activates in deep sleep. So it needs that push. That push happens only in deep sleep. So what happens? We all form. The cells die. This is called the apoptosis, and the end product is like the muck. So the muck builds in your brain, and that's one of the causes of dementia. So the glymphatic system is activated in deep sleep, and it clears the muck. So good sleep is great. It's a preservative for your brain, and of course, sleep apnea is a separate topic, and I think I might have to touch on it. So, to the glymphatic system, it activates in deep sleep. It's a self-cleansing of all the end products of cell death. Cells die, and then it forms the muck, and that muck is the one that causes the dementia, or we call the plaque.
And so the glymphatic system is what helps clean that out. That's okay.
Exactly. It's the
Very
auto
cool.
cleansing system of your brain.
Very cool. Just another reason why deep sleep and good sleep is important. Good to know.
Yes, yes. Sleep is the superpower. We are leaving it on the table. People are saying they're compromising on the sleep for doing other things, but if you sleep, you can do more with that time. 1 hour extra you slept.
Big time.
100%. So I have a slew of hodgepodge questions that
Yes,
popped
shoot
up during
away.
your
Yes,
your
yes.
7 pillars.
Yes.
Um, I remember listening to a podcast a long time ago, that the guest on the show was Dr. Kirk Parsley. He's a ex-Navy SEAL. It's like his trade name is the sleep doc kind of thing. And I think we see a lot of products or teas or late night cocktails to have to help our body start the cascading of the sleep effects that or enhance them or something. In your opinion, are those things helpful? Is taking anything to help you sleep or induce your sleep helpful, whether it's natural or a synthetic thing, or is that just kind of the current fad in the marketplace?
So what is happening is there's plenty of pseudoscientists, but the big problem that we're facing is the pseudoscientists have a lot of following. I make some videos. My kids like make fun of me that Dad, look at this person's video, that person's video, and I go look at their qualifications, and they did something I don't know. And then what happens? We're all fine. You see that my friends are encouraging me. We have to get in front and give the right information because that's the only way, because people are desperate. So you're searching for something and you want to put something in your body. Tea is great. So tea is also a diuretic. I have people, they add one more layer. If you associate something and it's going to put you to sleep, that's okay. It's an association. But tea as such is all tea as a little bit of a diuretic. You wake up and sleep. So all the products that I look at, these are all like, relational. You form even like a sleeping pill, you become dependent on it. So if that helps you, that's fine. But if you ask me a question, this tea is going to put you to sleep, I'm going to say no. It relaxes you. The art of tea, it relaxes you, but as such, it doesn't. We have our own chemicals in our body, GABA and melatonin. And then what be happening is there is a chemical, these chemicals put you to sleep. Then on the other side are chemicals to keep you awake, norepinephrine, epinephrine, dopamine. So we are revved up. We have to balance to bring that down. But the modern world we live in has this amped up thing. So we have to find a way to calm your mind by calming your body. And see, that's the thing. Oh, the products that I recommend, I use melatonin for people who have the clock problem, but not per se to go to sleep. I recommend magnesium. If you have a magnesium deficiency, you have to correct your magnesium to help with making these hormones natural hormones. Same thing with vitamin D. If your vitamin D is deficient, vitamin D is involved in the chemical process of a lot of things. So I recommend melatonin, magnesium, and vitamin D. And teas, if you like it, that's good, but it's not going to put you to sleep.
Gotcha. Yeah, one of the products I just have, pulled up, the ingredient list, there's melatonin, magnesium, L-theanine, and GABA, tryptophan, vitamin D3, and then a really long word that I can't pronounce. Um, so like my only worry with that is, and I could be wrong here because I'm not a doctor, but is when people are taking even natural things, like this is that are just giving your body more of the chemicals that it already produces. Does that affect our body's natural ability to produce these at an effective rate? Like if I start taking this thing every single night and then I decide that I want to stop, is my body conditioned now to be like, oh, these molecules and these chemicals have already been around. I don't need to produce as much anymore. And now you are in a huge deficit in some of these molecules. Is there truth to that? Am I on a path or am I crazy?
That's a great question, Tyler. So what happens is, the body scans. So when it sees something from the outside, it's going to turn off its own things. Same thing with testosterone. I'm not a huge fan of, we have our own testosterone called endogenous. I'm not very fan of the exogenous testosterone, anything from the outside, because you're right. Your body is going to turn it off and say, okay, there's melatonin. I'm not going to secreted. So we have our own chemicals. We have to find the natural way. And then what happens? Just like alcohol, the tolerance, you have to go higher on the dosage, right? And then it becomes tolerant. See, the body is so interesting. It doesn't release everything at once. That's when it secretes a little bit here and there, some. So it has this gentle way of doing things, not as a rapid. So anything you take from the outside, it enters our bloodstream, it has a big uprise, and then our body's not used to it, and it's going to sense the big uprise, and it turns off its own system. The body's natural mechanism is pulsing, senses a little bit, senses more, when you need more. So that's where it is. To answer your question, you're absolutely right. The more you take from the outside, it's going to shut off our own production.
Okay, interesting. Sweet. Yeah. The thing I don't like about my questions is they're like all in different boxes right now, and I feel
Yeah.
like
Please ask. My aim is to clarify as much as I can. Please do.
One of the other you touched on circadian rhythms
Yes.
and when you were talking about your seven pillars. One of the uh guys I like to listen to on social media, his name is Paul Saladino. He recently started implementing and talking a lot about grounding and earthing. And
Yes.
if you're familiar with the concept,
Yeah, from you have something on the bed, and
yeah,
on the ground.
something on
Yes.
the bed that's plugged into your grounding outlet, or just, even better, putting your feet on grass or the
Right.
soil. He mentioned something, and I don't know if these were anecdotal studies or if there's actual medical literature on this, but he was saying that if if you're traveling to different time zones or you're going to different areas of the world and you have this jet lag, right, that one of the best things that you can do to almost reset your circadian rhythm and not have multiple nights of poor sleep is to, as soon as you get off that plane, ground, get your feet on the earth, get sunlight in your eyes as soon as you wake up. Some of these principles to help reset or have a good circadian rhythm. Are there are those things that you can do to help that? Is it just more sleep schedule that really promotes that rhythm, or how exactly does that circadian rhythm work, and can we manage or reset it?
Great question. So the circadian rhythm is controlled by the one of those things called the suprachiasmatic nucleus. It's called the SEN. So it takes the cues from our body and from our eyes. It's getting all the cues. So our body is on a little bit over 24 and a half hour clock. It's on the clock. That's why we get hungry at certain times, we sleep at certain times. So it is keeping its own thing. But this clock only moves 1 hour per day. So let's say you have a 2 hour Eastern, it takes 2 days to adjust your clock to the new time, right? And to answer the question, yeah, exactly. When you reach the new destination, you have to focus on that. So, but the preparation takes earlier. You have to sleep a little bit later or earlier, depending on where you travel. So you're getting your body a chance. So, and you go in and take the light, and then maybe you can have some caffeine to get yourself going. And then this is where I encourage melatonin. I tell people to take at least 2 milligrams of melatonin prior to going to sleep. So this is where I use melatonin. About earthing, and I think what he's trying to say is the body's taking cues from everywhere, so it helps to get the cues from that part of the world. So there is a chemical buildup in our body called adenosine, and that puts you to sleep. It's building up the day from the time you're waking up, and it is counteracted by the sun, the noise, and so that's why we have the lull period around 2 p.m. So my own research shows the Titans don't do well in the third quarter because guess what time it is? It's 2 p.m., right? Our body is in a lull, and the outside teams come from different time zones and they beat us. I looked at the data. That is true. I'm the first guy to to bring this to. So all the coaches,
That's
everybody
awesome.
listening, they can, when see in the NFL, we change players trade up and down. I think we need to trade times too. One team should never be because they are always stuck in the sleepy time of the day, right? So we don't see the top teams playing at 12 noon games if you pay attention, and everybody's wondering why the Lions lost. If you're paying attention, here's the answer. Guess what time the second half was? 10. It was a night game, and the Western team had the big advantage. And everybody, the Lions never showed up in the second half because it was their time to sleep. It was 10 o'clock. And so that data is out there. And poor coach MCDC probably is worrying what the heck went wrong. Everybody said, the player's reaction time is 0.4 seconds. It's just a matter of just a turn. It's done, right? So I hope they know they know it, and we can do something about it. You can change your circadian rhythm by sleeping time and eating certain things, and also drinking, caffeine. Caffeine is not banned by, not a banned substance. So if you time it, you can change it. So I think that should be in the equation. The circadian rhythm should be an equation in everything we do.
That's
That's
awesome.
why that's why we don't go to a 2 o'clock meeting, right? We only go for
Right.
7 a.m. And then the TV times know why is it called prime time? They know we are more awake at 7 p.m. and same at 7 a.m. So everybody knows this. The key people, the top elite players know the importance of sleep. They know about jet lag. They are prepared. So the knowledge is out there. The top of the top, they know that, right? So their preparation is different. So everybody can be there by paying attention to our natural clock, which is almost close to 24 hours. So these are all some of those tips to, I don't do any meetings I take a nap around 2 o'clock if I can.
Oh, that's awesome. That's super helpful. Well, I know you got about 3 minutes left. I want to give you a minute to promote your new book because I'm super interested in hearing about that and picking it up. The only last quick question that I had, and maybe we need to save this for a part two sometime, but I was reading an article this morning that the headline was, obesity is found to have higher health risks than not having enough food now. This obesity epidemic that we're in. Um, how do you see that playing into increased cases of sleep apnea, poor sleep? Are we gonna have a cascade of negative health effects now because of this huge obesity problem? And we could save that for a potential part two, but I just wanted to bring that up because I found that super interesting.
Yeah, I mean, I think we have to address this. This is the big elephant in the room. So the obesity epidemic is affecting. So the more weight you have, the more sleep apnea. The sleep apnea is one condition when you're not breathing, it puts stress on the heart, and then you can have an arrhythmia. See, if you look at people's longevity, if you see a nonagenarian, they are not overweight. You never see a morbidly obese or obese person living to 90. Have you ever seen? I've not. Even in concentration camps, you can see the people are so skinny. So your body, it's got everything within it. The excess is the problem. The excess, the weight we carry, puts us at risk for blood pressure, diabetes, and that's how you die. And sleep apnea, which can trigger an arrhythmia when you have those episodes. So absolutely true. We can go. I think we need to dedicate a day for talking just about sleep apnea.
Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome.
Well, Dr. John, go ahead and promote yourself. Tell everyone how they can reach you, what the name of your book is, and we'll set up an intro for you. But tell everyone how they can reach you and what your website is.
Yeah, so I said, let me just put it in writing. I just took a lot of time and effort to do this. So my years of experience. So there's plenty of books out there for insomnia children. There's nothing for the whole family because if the child's not sleeping, the mom's not sleeping, if an older adult is not sleeping well. So this book is for the entire family to address what kind of sleep problems you have and then how to treat them. So that's called Nobody's Sleeping, 7 Proven Sleep Strategy. It's coming out on March 12th, the day of my son's birthday. So it's kind of ironic. That's pretty cool. And my website is called sleepfixacademy.com. I have a Sleep Now course. I have a lot of free materials there. People can, empower themselves. So I just, most people have read Dr. Matthew Walker's book of Why We Sleep, and this is as a tag to that. So now we know why we sleep. My book tells me why we don't sleep and how to fix them from a physician standpoint. I've treated hundreds and thousands of patients over the course of 25 years, and I've had pretty much good reviews. You can check me out on my website, and I hope everybody can discover this power within. You don't have to go out; you have it within you, just like exercise and dietary changes. So I hope everybody can sleep well and be well, and let's go sleeping.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much, John, for your time. Thank you for your insight. I'm sure there's lots of good nuggets in our conversation today. So we appreciate you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nico. Thank you, Tyler.
Thank you. Have a good rest of the day.
Yes.
Take it easy, guys.